watch the Orlando Sentinel discussion about John Morgan. And after our conversation on John Morgan at the last segment of this, I knew there was something about him that I'd forgotten, and I forgot quite a bit actually. What I forgot about was his motivation for getting cannabis put forward, and that was simply that his son had needed cannabis to get relief from pain as he was dying from cancer, and ended up dying ultimately. And Morgan always felt, I guess, that he needed to make that up to his son and to the population generally. The last time that he was running for office, or he almost ran for office, was against, would have been against Santos in that election. John Morgan would have won that election.
He would have beat him.
He really would have. And whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, he's got that kind of reputation because of his son, because people want cannabis. They really feel for health reasons and for recreation. I mean, if you're going to recreate on alcohol and get boozed up on that and say that's better somehow than cannabis, which is less hard, it's not hard on your kidneys, none of that's the case. And I could go into what Switzerland's doing and why we could be like that and be much better off. And Morgan is going in that direction. They're predicting that he's going to get this on the ballot in 2020. That's November coming up.
Well, let's toast to John Morgan for running. John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
And your son for causing you to think about the seriousness and the need for a simple thing like cannabis. So whether your name is John Morgan, or John Morgan, it's once, twice, all the better. Again, a toast to you, John.
Cheers, John.
So,
and thank you for all your help with making marijuana legal. That's great.
And why?
Man, I've been to the dispensaries. What the dispensaries are going to do is this. You're going to have kids coming out of high school. Instead of them going to parties getting drunk and maybe crashing, maybe date rape, even worse. You know, you never know. Even become addicts, alcoholics. What they're going to do is they're just going to smoke pot. They're going to have brownie parties and all this stuff.
Right.
It's gonna like make a curve from alcoholism and drugs, serious hard drugs, cocaine, crack, and heroin. It's gonna make the curve go to marijuana. Obviously, we don't want no one doing anything. Yeah, I agree. But we can't
No, I think that's wrong. We don't. We want people to have a relief.
No. We should encourage sobriety as a society.
Well,
we should allow.
Well, what is sobriety?
Candy. We should encourage health, sobriety. You don't want to send a kid to school and say, hey, look, the bar is great.
We sent the kid to school with brownies that had pot in it, right?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh no.
I'm talking about the kids are gonna group up and say, hey, look, instead of, because when I was in school, it was, hey, let's get a cake. Now it's, hey, look, let's go to the dispensary.
Right.
You know, when I was in school, kids are getting, DUIs, crashing, going to jail for pot. I went to jail for pot. I went to Seattle.
You did that as part of this conversation we had a while back on what happened to you over a bike sting with what police department did that to you?
Bradenton Police Department.
Bradenton Police. So I wasn't the sheriff; it was the city police of Bradenton. So all this, and then you come down to Sarasota on the beach. You smoke one joint, you get a ticket, have to pay a fine.
$200, and they tried to give me probation for that. And I told them, I said, look, I already went to jail for 30 days. They looked it up and said, okay, you're free to go.
Waived it.
Yeah, they said just
go.
Well,
Sarasota is...
And rehab. They told somebody rehab too. They're taking these potheads, putting them in rehab when they should send the heroin addicts there. Mm-hmm. Crackheads.
Right.
Those are the people going to ruin society.
They got to change. What is the classification that makes the drug serious, and they put pot in that classification? Title I or something? What is the title on that?
I'm not sure. When I meet John Morgan, I'm going to ask him.
So you need to have that interview. That's why you need to have the interview.
Yeah, we talk about
John
Morgan.
And John, if you're watching this video, we really do care about your purpose in life beyond making money as a lawyer. You're making life better. The Swiss have a technique that they use on all drugs. Switzerland about 5 years ago decided that any addiction you have, the drug will be in a hospital, free to any addict at any time, and all times, any time of the day.
We're going to Google that. We're going to look that up.
That's very much the case. And so this is what they do in Switzerland. Consequently, robberies, people not having to steal to pay for their drugs, go away.
That is true.
Prostitution goes away. Women don't
But the
have
cost
to,
is still there, Augie. Instead of the cost for the police and all that stuff and restitution, you're paying for these people their crack.
You're paying for these people what?
Their crack. Crack's expensive, man.
Well,
If you're telling me that they're gonna go to the hospital and say, I'm addicted to crack, you know, if you guys don't give me a hit, you know, I'm gonna go rob old Johnny over down the road.
well, they don't do
Michael, I'm
that.
gonna rob
They
Michael.
give, no, they have all
Here's my money.
in Switzerland. My understanding is they did this on purpose. All the various levels of addictive drugs, whether it's crack, hard or soft, whichever one are the two levels.
That's cocaine.
That's
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's crack. Crack is the hard part. That's the one that destroyed California
Right. But now the Swiss give whatever addiction you have,
and New York. Destroyed New York.
they make sure you get the pure version of that drug. And the reason they do that is they don't want you going on the street getting the wrong stuff and maybe getting killed from it, dying from it, being poisoned by it. So the government of Switzerland, therefore, has cut their crime rate tremendously because of that. And they estimated 1 year they spent $400,000. $400,000 in an entire country on drug supply to people, and the crime rate fell accordingly.
Well, they proved.
They made their
proved
case.
it. Yeah,
They
they
have
made
to-
their case.
So what John Morgan is doing is he's got that enlightenment, that smart, intelligent approach to things. The federal law is making the drug situation worse. Now, there's a I think I want to call it title something or other. There's a number behind it, but I need to get that information so we can talk about it a little bit better than we're doing right now. But nonetheless, we know the day is coming. We can no longer make drugs a business for the criminals. And when you, just like in the days of the Depression, it was 12 years from the time alcohol was banned, prohibition happened, and crime went rampant. And then you had the big thing that made a difference with people in those days. They had St. Valentine's Day massacre in Chicago. And what happened, criminals were doing a deal. Cops were involved in the killing. They were part of the gangs. And somebody came in with machine guns that don't stop. No extra bolt action or anything like that. And machine gun all these people. The Chicago Tribune showed this terrible picture of people slaughtered by a machine gun. So what they do, they banned the machine gun forever. And yet the AR-47s, all these weapons today, which are just as automatic, just as deadly as a machine gun, are being allowed to stay in not made illegal. So we have this today, and it's all because the drugs are illegal. It puts people in prison. All the things we obviously know, it's the drug war, so-called drug war, is a drug on everybody's civil rights. That's really what, and it's what's so great about John Morgan. He is really working for people's civil rights. And I really wish people would care more about that than whether somebody told them that a drug's going to do this, that, or the other thing. Cigarette smoking. I lost 3 of my very best friends from addiction to goddamn nicotine.
Yeah,
Pardon my language, but and they were all age 50. 50 years old and they're dead. One a millionaire, one a friend who he had it for a long time, and he died. And one of my best supervisors was a friend, and all 3 of them at the age of 50. Now, when you're 25, 29, or 30 or 35, you're only 15 years from 50, and cigarettes are worse than pot.
15 years from 40, but you're still close.
Well, I'm making the point.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. But
So we're all in.
wait. I'm gonna wave up. We gotta wrap it up. Let me see.
So
Hold on, let me just double check that. No, okay, we got 5 minutes.
Okay.
I put the hands up so that gives me a quick thing to
measure.
Yeah.
So anyway, in the previous skit that we did about John Morgan, we made fun of his name, but not his cause, not his purpose,
Exactly.
not his direction, not his leadership. We did not make fun of that. We applaud that, John Morgan. We're grateful for you. We hope you go further, especially in these times when we need strong, serious leadership, not a jokes leadership, a real serious leadership. And drugs is the way we can do that best. So, Alex, thank you so much.
Let me put this up. We don't have to close it yet.
Okay.
We still have 4 minutes. Remember, when you're talking to me, talk to the camera.
Oh, okay.
Remember, if you're directing, if you're talking to me, talk to the camera. I noticed that. If we're talking to each other,
Right.
We're not on a talk show.
So we're not doing the best thing for the. Well, I'll be glad to talk to the camera.
Yeah, you know, it looks better if you talk to the camera, even if you're talking to me. You see what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Because the viewers, they're like this. They rather see you. It's a better connection.
That's fine.
I think it looks better.
Not
I
problem.
could be wrong,
No,
but
we'll see how it measures.
remember, we said 4 minutes. Let's give John Morgan 4 minutes of credit.
John, we're going to give you all the credit in the world, and the people know this, the old people, the young people, and the cost of imprisonment of people over the use of a simple, healthy thing called pot or marijuana or cannabis. I invested in cannabis. Canopy Growth is a stock I invested in, and because the price went down, it's part of Constellation Brands. And Constellation Brands is they own everything. It's in Canada, and the stock fluctuates. And now it's been moving up lately.
Don't they own Coors Light? Is that what they own?
They own
Or Corona? No, they own Corona.
Well, Corona, but not Corona
Exactly,
virus,
no.
right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I can't. Constellation Brands owns a raft of brewing companies and whiskeys and things like that. So they're big, and so I just parked that money. It's not a whole bunch, but
You got killed. You got killed. That's all I'm saying. Depends on when you buy. You just got killed. I just bought into Aurora Cannabis at 70 cents a stock. Canopy Growth's at like 5, I think.
Right.
They were up like 50, 60. I think maybe they were up like in hundreds.
No, they were up to highest. They went to a little over 50.
Yeah, 50. Yeah.
But then it dropped to like 27.
But it's a long-term hold.
Oh no, this is a long.
There's a hold. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
So,
And because of John Morgan, you know, it's
John
getting pushed
Morgan
through.
is and what he does if he gets the law changed, which is what we need to do, change the law with his inspiration of John Morgan and those people who believe in allowing people to recreate reasonably, not being in drunken brawls on alcohol, not sucking and smoking cigarettes and watching their lives go up in smoke and their lungs turn solid black. Did you ever see a lung, by the way, when you're talking about smoking?
Yeah.
You open it up,
Black.
But it's fur, like black fur, coated in tar, liquid tar. And it's an ugly thing to know I have a tenant who is a terrible smoker. And the other day I had to tell her, you can't smoke in the other end of the house. Well, you said I could in the back room. I said, but you're opening the door to the inside house. The entire apartment, fairly long apartment, was reeking in smoke.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And I hated to do that to her, but she's going to be angry with me because I'm going to say, if you're going to keep doing that, we're going to part our ways. We're not going to keep doing this. You're not going to ruin the interior of my building. Aside from your lungs, aside from the blackening of and the shortening of your life, she's a hard-working person. She's probably 50 years old, but she's shortening her life, and she's so trapped in that drug called nicotine and lithium, because that's part of the same thing. So anyway, we have this gratitude for John Morgan. Thank you, John.
Yep.
And thank you those of you who voted in the last election, voted to legalize pot for medical use. And maybe we can get that to happen in 2020, which is coming up rather soon. So we're going to see that on the ballot again.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys, for watching.
Thank you so much, John. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Okay. There you go.